Hi, welcome to the Bag Maker Society. Welcome to everybody who's joining us tonight. You caught me on the hop. I was just going to reply to a comment and I didn't realise the countdown was going as quickly as what it was, so I do apologise. So tonight we have Amanda with us from Chameleon and Co. If anybody follows Amanda on Instagram, you will see her amazing bag creations. She's an absolute amazing bag maker. She is also somebody who sells her bags, so I think it's going to be a really interesting chat in how she got into doing that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her in, which I've already done. I'm not very organised tonight. I'm sorry, I'm very discombobulated. So I can see Andy has checked that the sound and everything is working. So I'm going to run through a few of the comments and just see who's here tonight, and then we can get started with chatting about our favourite subject, which is bags and sewing. Hazel's with us. Oh, they've changed our screen. We've gone all fancy. I like it. Grumpy's just telling everybody that would be live. It was Jackie who I was trying to reply to, who she was saying that she'd found us. Tracy's here. Donna's here. Sue's with us, as is Kathy, and Lynn is with us as well. So I'm just going to delete my comment that I was typing just so that I don't randomly post something in the comments. So, like I say, Amanda is with us tonight. She runs Chameleon and Co. She is on Instagram, and you are on Facebook as well, aren't you? I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
I've linked everything in the description box down below. So do you just want to briefly introduce yourself and tell us how you got into bag making and sewing?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda. I started sewing well at school, really. I did O level in needlework. Yes, I am that old. and I really loved it. But I've always been sort of crafty. I suppose there was a lot going on in our house. I come from a big family, and so my mum used to make things, and I was fascinated by everything. She couldn't actually teach me to knit because I was what she classed as cack-handed. I did things left-handed or right-handed, depending on the mood I was in, I think. So my
Yeah.
nan taught me how to knit. So knitting, crocheting, needlework, I used to do everything, and still do. But I kind of had a love-hate relationship with sewing, I suppose. I went into it for a little while, just made myself bits and pieces and clothes and what have you. And then I didn't touch it for years. I suppose work and family and everything got in the way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I had three boys, so I was busy making stuff with the boys, and
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of time for my my passions. But as they do, they grow up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then just got back into it in a slowly, really, I suppose. I don't I don't really know why it started again. Just one day I decided I wanted to do some sewing. No idea what I was going to do. Um, but I'd seen, I suppose it was now obviously social media was rife and people were doing different things, and I was looking on Pinterest and stuff. So I suppose I did what everybody does first of all and starts with little bits and pieces. I made some fabric baskets and tissue covers and all the little things just to get me back into it. And it was coming up to Christmas, so I made a couple of Christmas stockings, which I was
Mm-hmm.
really chuffed with because going around the corners of the heel and what have you, it was difficult to get back into. But no, that was fine. Um, and then just made various things. I made myself a fabric bag, which I was chuffed to bits with. It was a proper shoulder bag, full of,
Yeah.
but I say it was made of fabric, and I didn't put any stiffener in it at all because I just didn't know.
Me too.
Oh, it was just nothing I'd even come across or thought about. A lie. I did think about the bottom, So I put
Yeah.
some thick mesh in the bottom, you know, like the cross stitch stuff, but it was plastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
stuck some of that in the bottom because I thought, yeah, I need to have a proper bottom. But of course, it was floppy and not great. Although I must
Yeah.
admit,
Don't need a soggy bottom.
no, definitely not. But that, so you know, my mind, I was thinking about it, just didn't think about it enough, obviously. So I sort of thought, okay, this isn't right. This isn't what it's supposed to be. Um, so I did a bit of digging, found YouTube, um, and thought about it, and I made my very first proper bag. Was
Mm-hmm.
Singapore sling, funnily enough, because I like
Right. Whose
that
pattern's that again?
pink pony,
Right. Yes.
um, and um, it was both fabric and a bit of faux leather, not huge amounts. Um,
Mm.
because I like that size bag, the style of it with the flap. I'm more of a flap person than a zip, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to do that. So I made that, and I was, oh, honestly, I thought I was the bee's knees because I'd actually made a workable bag that I could use. And it sort of, I got the bug really.
Mm.
But, you know, I've made tote bags and various things, which I don't really use. I've got hundreds of them in my car and what have you, but I don't use them a lot. But I do love handbags.
Yeah. They just always fit, don't they? Like,
Doesn't matter.
making a handbag.
I mean, like, so many people
Yeah.
say, I've got loads of handbags. Well, yeah, so have I. But you never have
Mm-hmm.
the right one for the right event or the right outfit or anything. So you can never have too many bags.
Yeah. And I mean, the beauty for us is, I mean, if you're anything like me and you've got quite a substantial stash of fabric, if you decide pretty much last minute that you
Yes.
want a new handbag and
Yes. That.
you've got it in your mind, you can
Yeah.
pretty much knock one up fairly
Yeah.
quickly.
I have done that. I was invited to, I was going to Germany to visit my stepdaughter, and we were going to the races. And I made myself a dress out of, I like to say it's silk, but obviously it's not real silk, but that's what it was like. I was so,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed a bag to go with it, as you do. So yeah, I made the handbag to go with it. So I
Totally
literally made a
coordinating.
whole outfit apart from my underwear.
Yeah. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it's making that first one, isn't it, that you're really proud of? That just hooks you
Yeah,
in, doesn't it?
absolutely. I mean, if I look at it now, and I still have it, I
Mm-hmm.
could see everything that's wrong with it, of course. But at the time, it didn't matter. You know, I had made a workable handbag.
Yeah.
It was not the, you know, I was, it was amazing as far as I was concerned.
Have you
Um,
gone back and made that pattern again?
I have not as much variations of it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that you might see. I do quite a bit. I'll make a pattern several times and then I might alter it, as I know lots of people do, um, and make it so it's
Ew.
slightly different. But one of the things that I do, because as you mentioned, I do sell my bags, which we can come into later, is I never ever make two bags exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Same pattern, but it's different. There's
Yeah.
never two the same. I photograph every single thing I make, and I've got a huge files of it. Of course, I've got them on my computer, but I'm old and I like paper, and I can flick through and see that particular style. No, I haven't made it um, in this colorway. Do it. I can do
Mm-hmm.
it. So yeah.
And have you got a particular sort of like fabric that you will always choose to work in?
Well, I predominantly work in faux leather.
Mm-hmm.
I do mix it up occasionally. I put some tapestry fabric with it. I have got some nice quilting cottons that I will use occasionally. Um, but predominantly it's faux leather.
And have you got a favourite type of faux leather?
Um,
Because
well,
that's a
obviously,
a million dollar question for us in the
Yeah.
UK, because you know we've got some beautiful ones over here, but we don't have the selection that they have over the pond. So
No,
we
get very, very jealous of some of the things that we see
Mhm.
from there. But it's just not feasible to unless you're buying massive quantities,
Mhm.
which I can't do and wouldn't do because I wouldn't use it. Well, plain
Yeah.
ones, yeah, you do, but
Mhm.
no, I like a bargain, don't we all?
Mhm.
Um, so I just sort of pick things up as and where I can, to be honest. But
Yeah.
no, I don't think there's a specific type. I'm not precious about anything. If I like it,
Mhm.
texture and the thickness is good, then that's what I'll use. I've made some disasters, as I'm sure we all have,
Yeah, we all have.
um, and that is soul destroying.
Yeah. They're learning experiences, really, aren't they? That's
Yeah,
what we have to chalk them up to.
I still think class myself as learning. Um, I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination, um, but I'm really pleased with the journey that I've come through and where I'm at the moment, and just keep developing. And I know I'm developing because I still have a lot of the early pieces.
And how long have you been sewing bags for?
Well, just actual bags, probably 5 years, 4 or 5 years now.
It's an
Um,
amazing journey that you've been on, because the bags that you
uh,
produce are
I'm lucky
beautiful.
now that I'm retired, so I class it as my day job,
Mhm.
and I just love making. Um, I will make bags every day if I could,
Mhm.
but I do it a lot, and I will continually practice things. But if I try a new pattern and it doesn't quite work, I might leave it for a few months and go back to it again, or I might do it straight away because I know
Yeah.
what I'm wrong, and do it. But I think there's nothing worse than spending hours and hours making something for it to not come out the way you want it.
Yeah. I think those is your sort of, the more that you do like bag making, or with any type of sewing really, whether it's, you know, dressmaking,
Yeah,
embroidery or anything like that, you get to know sort of how things go together. So your mistakes tend to happen less and less, because you can
hopefully.
preempt your mistakes, or sometimes you can. When you're paying attention, not like me yesterday when
Well,
I was too
exactly.
busy
I
watching the
mean,
telly.
the stupidest mistake I made was I completed the whole bag and was just checking it over, and I'd sewn the internal zipper shut because I hadn't flipped it, just done the bottom. I'd sat on and just like, how stupid is that? You know, it's a very
I've done it where
basic
I've
mistake.
yeah, I've done it where I've done the whole thing and forgot to put the zipper pull on, which
Touch wood, touch wood. I have not joined that club yet.
I mean, how awful is that, considering, you know, I sell them for a living? I mean, that that's pretty awful. Or uh, before I go on to my next question, we'll say hi to a few people in the chat. So Annie's here, Paula's here. She says hi guys. Hazel's here. Um, I'm not sure what the person's name is, because obviously that's a username, but this person is from Texas.
No.
So hello. Um, Maureen says hello, running late as usual. That's fine, Maureen. Better late than never. Donna says, better than me. Her first base was a cereal box. If it works, it works.
Absolutely.
Um, Donna saying, neither do I. There's always something different. Obviously, that's in relation to never making the same bag
Yeah.
twice. Um, and Donna's saying the jeopardy of buying online with obviously the different fabrics and such like. Grace
It's
is
very
saying hello to
difficult
everybody.
colours and things when you're going online. It,
Yeah, it can be
it
so difficult, can't it?
yeah. But we don't
Yeah,
have it around here where I can buy faux leather, certainly. Fabric, yeah,
yeah.
got a couple of decent fabric outlets, but no, you just can't buy it. It has to be online.
I know our biggest fabric store has just closed,
Oh no.
and I'm beyond devastated. It's
Days
such a shock.
yeah, it's so fashionable, shall we say,
Hmm.
be making that for them to close down, they were.
Yeah,
There's obviously, you don't know the reasons for it, but
yeah, but yeah, it was just obviously it was just basically announced they were shutting. It was about 10 days, and yeah, and it
too
was
many
just
going.
devastating because I could jump in the car and be there in like 15 minutes. I have got, I, I have got another good, like an amazing fabric place called. I'm going to plug her because she's amazing. It's called Soul Fabrics in Darlington. Darlington. That was a very, very Teesside way to say that. I'm so sorry. Um, and it's like an Aladdin's cave. So if anybody in the northeast, we really have to save our local fabric shops. If you need to go fabric shopping, go and visit Amanda. She's also called Amanda. Another reason to go and visit her. In Darlington, Soul Fabrics. It's like an Aladdin's cave. It is unreal. She has all sorts. I don't actually know what her faux leather fabric is. Well, if she has much of that,
Mm.
but quilting cottons and such like in upholstery fabrics and such is amazing. She's online as well. She has an amazing selection, but it's about 45 minutes for me. So
Mm.
obviously by the time you get in the car, I drive down, I then spend 3 hours looking
I was going
around.
to say, yeah.
And and obviously running a business myself. But yeah, that's just my little plug to. So sorry, we'll go back to the
Yeah.
topic in hand. But yeah, it is really difficult to buy in places if you live rurally, um, or because places are unfortunately closing down.
Yeah,
So
hard.
yeah,
I
so I
mean,
think it is quite good when you find somewhere that does sell something that you do like, especially if it's plain. The stock colours.
yeah,
I'm like, right,
yeah,
stick
they're all
with
the
it.
basic, and then you can put some fancy bits on top.
Yes, yes, coordinating.
Yes, I find
So,
it hardest, to be honest. I like
mm,
options because I don't have to think about it. They tell me what they want.
yeah.
Uh, for me to decide on different, putting colours together, patterns together, oh, I'm so undecisive about things like that.
Sorry, sorry about me shaking the camera there. I've just gotten the shock of my life. I think it was one of my dogs next
Oh,
to my door. Um, so yeah, obviously we've still got fireworks going off.
yes.
Um, so I
Mm.
think it was one of my dogs sort of settling down next to the door and having a little bit of a shake next to my sunroom door, and it
It's all
gave me a
right.
bit
My
of a
dog barks
fright.
mad at the fireworks. She hates
Yeah,
them.
yeah. It's been a fun few weeks, hasn't it,
Yeah.
with them? Yeah.
Mad.
So Hazel's saying she's the same. She doesn't often make a pattern the same twice unless it's been requested or she's making another as a
Yeah,
gift. I think that I'd be the same. I'd only ever make the same twice as if I was gifting, like a mother,
yeah,
daughter, sisters, that
exactly.
sort of thing. But I think I'd probably still always do a little twist,
Yeah,
unless it was
I
had
had
to be the same.
I had a request for twin girls. They wanted the same bag, the
Yes.
same fabric, but I did the lining different. So the
Yeah.
whose was whose.
Hmm.
That was the only reason. Other than that, I wouldn't have done it again. But
Yeah.
yes, it's
Sometimes it's nice to have something the same so that you've got that connection if it's like some family or best friends or something like that.
yeah,
It's
no,
still
mum
nice to be a bit
did that. They
different.
had to be the same.
Yeah. I wouldn't want anybody to have the same as me.
No, but That's the whole
Oh,
point. That's why I like doing it.
exactly. Brian is here from San Diego. Brian's going to be on in a few weeks' time. Elaine's here too. Maureen says we're getting truly international. Of course, of course. Donna's saying she hasn't got any fabric shops closer than 45 minutes. Obviously, she's in rural Norfolk, which Hazel's in Norfolk as well. Obviously, saying there's no fabrics on their high street. Paul is saying, I think the hardest thing about bag making is deciding on which fabric to use.
100%.
I just read Paula's stash. I was making a bag recently, and I didn't have enough for my strap, and I knew me and Paula had bought the same fabric because we'd gone together. So I sort of nicked a little bit of Paula's fabric to finish my strap.
You can do that with.
Yeah, she very, very kindly let me have some. Very, very kindly let me. Yeah, and Donna's totally right. The most difficult and time-consuming part is actually deciding on the fabric.
Yes. It can make or break a bag, really. You know.
Absolutely, yeah. Lisa's here from Mississippi.
Comfort zone, because I'm quite a conservative person, if you like, on my accessories, and see what people are wearing out and about, and people were quite colourful, and so I sort of tried to do more like that. And I do find it's a bit of a Marmite thing.
Yeah,
people will gravitate towards them and others not so.
yeah.
I still find that at the markets and things.
I'm very much kind of plain on the outside, party on the inside, but that's my style.
That's what I like.
Obviously, I'd have to be different if I was making for other people, but yeah, I find it quite difficult to be party on the outside. But that's just me.
I do. I can't carry that either, really. But I don't. I think I do like colourful linings, because you can't find anything with these black linings in everything, and so you need something so you can see what's in your bag.
Yeah, I just like to open it up and be like, oh, isn't it lovely? Just for it not to be expected. I like that. I like it to be a bit of a surprise.
It's good.
Brian saying, one would think the city of San Diego would have lots of options. He still has to buy online. He'd rather do that than support a big bookstore. Maureen said Doncaster Market used to have lots of fabrics and haberdashery stores, but there's hardly any. Where the same. We used to have like a big sort of, lots of markets, and they're all gone. Paula's saying, I'm welcome to more. You'll regret that, Paula. You know that you will. Because I know where you live, literally, because I've been to your house. Grace says, no more fabric shops close to me have faux leather or suede. She has to buy online.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a really lovely market store with haberdashery and loads of gorgeous fabrics, but no faux leather.
Yeah,
so always online.
I think as well, Law, for things like faux leather and suede and things like that, it can be quite difficult for fabric shops to stock them because the rolls are so big.
Yeah.
And they take up so much space that, they would have to kind of sell quite a lot of them to make it worth the while them stocking them. So it's a difficult one for them to juggle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's how much of it would they sell? Because there's probably more people would buy cottons because of quilters and what have you than. So it is. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
But here in the UK, as you said, trying to get patterned vinyls or faux leather, it's so difficult. You can get some, and some you have to pre-order, but I don't want to pre-order, because if I want it now.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
I'm with you on that one.
I won't want it.
I don't even want to drive 45 minutes. Oh, I will drive 45 minutes. Hazel says she finds it hard to decide on fabric unless it's a request. And given where she works, you'd think fabric choice wouldn't be an issue. Hazel works in an amazing fabric shop. Again, I've been there too. It's actually where you probably can't see him. I've got a it's probably just out of shot. I've got a Highland cow on my wall here, which is where Hazel works. It's the shop that this came from. He's amazing. He's called Dougal. He's unreal. But it's the most amazing shop. Lots of fabrics, lots of mostly sort of upholstery, sort of soft furnishing types fabrics, which is amazing for bags and that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's unreal. Absolutely fabrics. I think it's absolutely absolute fabrics. I'll put a link in the description box to that down below as well. They're obviously northeast, but they are. It's one of those places when you walk in, you go, oh, it's unreal. And then they have quite sort of eclectic sort of things dotted around, like Highland cows, but
if there's so
that's
much
where Hazel works.
then difficult to know what to get because you just
Yeah.
choice. So you can't win really.
I mean, I couldn't work in a place like that because I'd have no wages. I'd just literally be giving them all back. I would be working for nothing. In fact, I'd be paying them to work there.
I used to say that about jewellery shops. I could never work in a jewellery shop because I'm
shoe shops. Yeah, shoe shops for me would be like that as well. It would just be false economy. It would just not be worth it. But yeah, an amazing place where Hazel works. Amazing place to work. Donna's saying she's the opposite. Colour pattern on the outside, plain on the inside, in a coordinated colour, but only black and dark if it works best for the colour match option. Yeah. So do you because this is a conversation I really love to have with people, because I am very set on my opinion on this. Do you like doing custom orders?
Mostly I do. One of the big reasons is, like I said, I don't have to choose the fabrics.
Yeah.
But it's usually a design that I've made already because they've seen it either on the website or at a market, and they say, I want this bag, but can I have this colour, that pattern, whatever colour hardware. And mostly it's fine. I've made a couple which I think, oh God, really? But they've come out fine, and I'm like, I would never have chosen those, and they've come out lovely. So in general, yes, I do like doing them. I'm not sure if someone wanted me to design a bag to their specification, if I'd be happy with that, because I don't think I'm good enough to do that yet.
Yeah.
If it's a slight variation or, different sizing and things like that, that's not a problem.
Yeah. So are you quite sort of good at managing people when you say, this is the pattern, this is how you can have it, and you're not changing up, adding this, adding that, because that's when it can get quite complicated, can't it?
I mean, mostly it's fine. They've changed the handles or the pockets, added more, taking some away, different things like that, and again, resizing, but and they might just say, well, I really like that, but I want it in black, but I don't want plain black. What other blacks have you got? I've got one at the moment that I'm looking at, and so I have to look and see what different textures I've got. Try to put those together and go from that. That is harder when it's all one colour, but it needs to be different, if you like.
Yes.
But mostly it's okay. What I will do is, if a lot of it's online, so I send them photos of different colours. They'll say, I want, I don't know, pink and blue. So I'll send them a load of different blues, a load of different pinks, and we'll work it out between us. There's usually lots of messages going backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
Until we get to what they're really happy with. I did one fairly recently. Again, she wanted it black, but she wanted Celtic knots and cactuses. That was her thing.
Right.
And I couldn't find what we were looking for at the time. I did find some faux leather, which was lovely. She decided no, she didn't want that. She was going to have it all black. So I'd done a bit of a mock-up of something, and then I said, well, I can embroider something on it if you want. So I did an embroidery Celtic knot on something. And when I sent the picture, she thought it was suede because it looked like suede because the way the light fell on it.
Yeah.
So I said it wasn't, and she said, "Oh, I quite fancy the suede with the faux leather." And I said, "Well, I'll have a mock-up because I'm not sure. I've not done embroidery on suede before." So I did that, and it worked out fine. So I showed her, and she loved it. So I made the bag, sent it off, and she was really pleased. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a combination of things that they come up with, and you put suggestions forward as well,
Mm-hmm.
design it that way. But it is generally always a pattern that I've made or I've got as a base.
Yeah.
And even if it's just a plain front, we might put some applique on it, or 2 or 3 colours instead of one block colour.
Mm-hmm.
Do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I get really frightened by anybody asking me for custom orders. I'm just like, no. Because it puts the fear of God into me. So I take my hat off to
Yeah,
anybody who has the confidence to do it.
I think I've been lucky. I'll
Yeah.
wait until I get that one that either they're not happy with it, it's not what they want, or there's something wrong with it. It will happen because it always does at some point.
I think though, from the sounds of it, you're very thorough in your consultation, and
Try to be.
yeah, which I think will help with alleviating any of those issues, problems further down the line.
There shouldn't be any surprises, put it that way.
Yes.
It's even down to the colour of the hardware.
Mm-hmm.
In the bag I was just talking about, and I sent the pictures, she says, I'm just checking. And this is after it had been made, and I showed her the finished one, and she said, just checking, what's the colour of your badge? I said it was black. She said, oh, that's fine. She said it just looked gold from the light.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes silver and gold can look very
Yeah.
similar. Even when I'm picking hardware, like for orders,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'll pick now. Sometimes I'll go and stand under the light because I'm
I
like,
have to
oh,
do
is
that
it
as
silver
well.
or is it gold? Because sometimes if you're in a little bit of a dark spot, it can look a little bit different. So on pictures, they can,
Yeah.
gold and rose gold can look very, very similar depending on.
That's why it's
You've
good
got to
when
be careful.
if you're at a market and somebody wants a commission from what they've seen on the stall, because they can see the different colours. I was doing pretty much all the colours. So I'm trying very much now for my hardware to just be silver and black. I'm
Yeah,
a
that's a
big
good idea.
gold. I have still got rose gold, and I have still got some rainbow, but it's so expensive to have everything in every colour.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to just bring it down a bit, unless it's
Yeah,
specifically asked for.
yeah, definitely. I've just noticed a, I've just noticed a comment there from Maureen. She said, I'm being very nosy, but I'm intrigued by the door hanger you have for your fabrics. Did you make it or buy it?
Well, there's two. I think the one you can see is one that I bought, and I think it's it was from Amazon, but a lot of years ago, and they do something very similar. Um, but what I like about that one, I think it was a shoe thing or a bag thing, because I can actually
Mm-hmm.
get probably 3 rolls of vinyl in each slot, where the ones now you can only get one because they've made them that much smaller. But I have actually made some. I'll just that one.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Because I've just got loads. So I've made a couple of those to put. So it's the same principle, but it's all out of fabric. It was actually
That's a
made
really good
quilt
idea.
club, I think. Yeah, and I can get most of the slots. I've managed to get 2 rolls in, but yes, we do what we can do. See what I was saying about I just make all sorts of weird shit, really. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's don't worry about it. That's way better than what sometimes slips out of my mouth. Don't worry about it. I'm just because I've just seen there that Emma's here. Emma Studio 77. She's saying, "Yay, I made it." When me and Emma met in person for the first time in real life, we met at the Stitch Festival when I went down to help her out on her stall. And I had to say to her, I'm very sorry, but you know, sometimes bad words come out of my mouth accidentally, you know, so I'll apologise. And she went, oh, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. And I was like, yay, we're kindred spirits. And we had a whale of a time.
Yes,
so honestly, don't worry about it, it's fine. They usually come out of my mouth when one of these things starts to act up and aren't my friend. So, because this is Jack, Jill is, where's Jill? She's under there at the moment because me and her aren't speaking.
Oh, my cat's keeping me company tonight. I've kept the dog out because, she just wrecked the place.
Yeah, well, Bruce, who I think was the one who gave me a shock before, he was in the sewing room last night while I was doing my live in the club. Because he was hiding from the fireworks, and I think he was a bit happier in here than he was in there. And then he decided halfway through that he wanted to be out, but then he decided he didn't want to be out. He wanted, and I was like, Bruce, will you stop it? So yeah, but no, Jill's the other sewing machine who me and her aren't speaking because she decided to just pack in the other week. She's fixed. I've had the sewing machine guy out and she's all sorted, but we're still not friends. She's still thinking about our life choices under the desk for the time being. Andy's saying it was Bruce. He's now sleeping on the couch. He's such a grumpy, like him. He's grumpy and Andy's grumpy. Andy's not actually grumpy. He's really, really not grumpy in real life. But Bruce is so grumpy. He has the grumpiest face that any dog has ever been given. He was born that way. He is just he's just yeah. I sent a picture actually to Emma the other day on Messenger and I said, have you ever seen a more grumpy looking dog? Like he just looks miserable all the time. He doesn't like people, he doesn't like other dogs. He sits with his back to you. He's just really funny.
What is he?
Yeah.
What type of dog?
A Scottish Terrier.
Oh.
So I've got 2 Scottish Terriers. I've got Hamish and I've got Bruce. Hamish is black. Bruce is brindle. So people don't think he's a Scottish Terrier because he's brindle.
Yeah, brindle, yeah.
But he looks like a little Charlie bear. I'm gonna see if I can bring up the picture that I sent Emma the other day. Whether it'll show up on screen very well or not, I don't know. Don't worry, Emma, I won't show anybody else anything. God, Emma, me and you text each other a lot.
No, I've got a King Charles Spaniel, and she thinks everybody loves her.
Is that the grumpiest dog ever known a man?
Yeah. Oh, bless.
So, and that is just how he looks normally. He's just, yeah. But he's really, really not happy with all of the fireworks going on. And Hamish is very, very poorly and not happy.
He might be frightened, but he's quiet with it. Mine just barks all the time, all the fireworks.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're so straight. Like they bark a lot at things in general, but the fireworks they just go very quiet and shake and yeah. But so yeah. So we'll get back to chatting about
Yeah.
bags. Lynn saying when she worked in one, they loved her because she gave all their wages back. I'm presuming she either worked in a fabric shop, a
Yeah.
jewellery shop, or a shoe shop. Or all of them. Donna's saying that obviously you work very similar to how she works as well. Hazel saying she's had a few people where they've literally expected her to design a bag and she's like, whoa, I'm a bag maker, not a designer. Haven't got the
Yeah,
mental ability to
they sort of
design.
do confuse the two sometimes.
Yeah. Emma saying, yeah, I know that. You're like me, very like me. Tracy's saying she's just spent an hour trying to get her HD9 to play. She's trying my patience yet. It was obviously built on the same day as my Jill. My bobbin keeps jamming. I've tried everything. Tracy, I'll send you a message in the WhatsApp group. It might be tomorrow, but I've kind of figured out what it is with my bobbin as to why mine keeps jamming up. It's probably the same. Is yours a version 1 or a version 2? If it's a version 1, it's probably the same issue as mine. I'll send you a message in the WhatsApp group. But yeah, Hazel's saying I had a Bruce. He was a Frenchie. He was very grumpy, wicked. Yeah, like wicked side eye. Yeah, Bruce gives everybody the evils. Lynn says it was a fabric, wool, and sewing machines. Oh my! I wouldn't even be giving them my wages. It would just be my credit card. I mean, yeah, like
God,
it
no.
would just. Yeah, I would literally be so skint. Um,
I'm glad I'm quite rural, so I can't just nip into the shop. You know, I do actually have to
yeah,
drive somewhere to go.
yeah. So Emma's saying, is it your bobbin being put in the right way? Probably obvious one that you've tried. Tracy's saying it's V2. So it might be different because mine's a V1, but it might still be the same one. Mine was to do with it going behind in the bobbin, but I'll send you a message in the WhatsApp group and see if I can try and video it and see if it's the same issue, because if it is, you'll be like, oh. So Hazel's actually asked you what was going to be my next question, which is, what machine do you use?
I actually use a brother, and it's a domestic machine for the most part. And I do have a vintage Singer, which is a workhorse. Oh my God, they are so good. And that does help with some of the thickness sometimes. But to be honest, my brother with the thicker thread and bigger, bigger needles has done really well. It does go through the mill a lot, and I do swear sometimes. But it's been brilliant, to be fair. For a domestic machine, it's been fantastic. But I do still need my old Singer. I would absolutely love a Jack, but I just don't have any room for it. My sewing room is actually a spare bedroom, so it does have a double bed in it as well, with all my
Yeah.
paraphernalia. So if I could get rid of that, I'd have room. Although how I'd get it upstairs, I don't know. But
The come disassembled.
yeah. No, I will. I'm desperate to have one. Scared.
I love mine.
My God, it's a learning curve again.
Yeah. It
Um,
took me a little while.
but yeah, we'll get there. I mean, it's the same with any new machine. I mean, God, I had, when I got this brother after, I mean, I know I've got an ancient Singer, but I did have a more modern Singer before I got, and it was, my God, all those stitches, all those different bits and pieces and programs and what have you, just didn't know what to do with it. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be the same.
Which Singer machine do you have?
Oh gosh. Um, oh, what is it? Let's see if I've got it here. No, that's not it. No, I can't. Can't remember what it's called. One of the popular ones.
Is it a 201 or a 99?
Actually, I could probably find it. We'll keep chatting. I'll find it.
Just for anybody who might be interested,
Yeah.
if they get the opportunity to, you know, get their hands on one for the same reasons that you're using it. I love my 201. But when I got my Jack, it took me quite a while to kind of get to grips with it. Andy's had a little go on it. He wasn't keen at all. But I think it's just because obviously it's the walking foot. It kind of operates slightly differently. But once me and him became friends, obviously me and Jack, not me and Andy. Me and Andy are friends, you know, love him a bit.
But it's learning how to do things differently again.
But when I switch over onto a different machine now, I do not like it. And I know a lot of people have difficulty say they have difficulty sewing cottons, so like doing their linings with their Jack. I can do my linings on my Jack, so I have a way of interfacing them that I know works. I have a way of sort of feeding them through the machine, you know.
Well, you do
sometimes they're sort of wobbly and I've got to go back and straighten the line up, but that's okay, that's fine. Nobody sees, you know, as long as the line is straight, you know, once it's turned through, it's fine.
This is it.
But I can sew my linings absolutely fine on my Jack now. It's just all been a learning curve and I love it.
It doesn't matter what machine you have. You get used to it and you know how to do different things on each machine. So
one of the things I've found with this one now, and I actually use, and I use all the time, is my zipper feet. And I just swap I leave the middle foot and I just swap the outer feet. Okay. Depending on what I'm doing. Yeah. So I leave I don't know my left from my right. I leave my left hand foot on mostly and occasionally change it to the right hand and then just switch it back.
I use the left hand as well.
And then it means it makes my top stitching like so much easier. Hazel's just saying in the chat there, I do that too, and it's maybe been a tip that I've seen Hazel mention in one of the Facebook groups that I've picked it up from, because it was somebody who mentioned it and I thought, oh, I'm going to give that a try, and I was like, that's genius. And I don't use any other feet now. I literally only use the zipper feet and I leave the middle one on and I just switch the other two round depending on what I'm doing, and it's changed my life. I just love it. But it did take, and Hazel's saying, I can't see the comment there, she hated her Jack to begin with, but she absolutely adores it now.
No, I can't wait. I'm hoping to get it. Hoping to get rid of this thing by the end of next year.
Yeah, just do what I do and change your sewing room around like every other week.
Well, no, I changed it around probably about 9 months ago, and I love it. Everything's exactly where I want it. It's just this bed is sitting here in the corner.
In the way.
Yeah, well, it's not in the way, but I could use the space.
Yeah, I mean, how much more fabric could you get in if you didn't have a double bed?
No, the space for my machine. I'm gonna have a machine. Now, looking at the, it's either a 185K.
Oh right, yes.
Or the 275.
Right.
Which one? I think it's the 185.
Right.
And then I have got a pure vintage one that is hand cranked.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't used that for a long time, but it is it's gorgeous. But
Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they?
I just haven't got the room to have it out. That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing.
All of mine are up on the top of my unit up there.
Well, I've got my embroidery machines here, which is massive as they are, and I've got a cover machine up there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
You definitely need rid of that double bed. I mean,
I know. I
it's in
just
the
want.
way.
Well, the reason we didn't was we're supposed to be moving, and so I would have a dedicated sewing room as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that has fallen through, unfortunately. So
Mm.
starting again, but I'm not losing hope. I am going to move,
No,
and I am
we'll keep our fingers crossed.
dedicated room, and then that will be it. That will be me all set up.
Yeah, we'll all keep our fingers crossed for you, and we'll keep an eye on your Instagram for progress on that one. Andy's saying 9 months. That sounds like bliss.
Yeah.
Yes, I make Andy change my sewing room round quite often. It's been literally twice in the last 2 weeks.
I
Yeah,
just
because
yeah. I mean, we
the sewing
always,
machine
but
broke.
oh yeah, but that's different. Then you have to move things around, definitely.
Yeah, and because I had a live the next day,
Mm.
so we're literally, yeah, I might have had a little meltdown.
No, well, thank God.
And
We
then on
did.
that note, he also says sewing machines and swearing go hand in hand, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. No, you can't have one without the other.
Yeah. Donna's saying quick change bolt and 2.5 skinny foot was a game changer for me. Only problem is can't use the walking foot with a bolt. No, I actually looked to see whether I could get a quick change bolt for this, and you can't. But to be fair, I've got changing it with a screwdriver down to like seconds now, so it's really quick. Lynn saying my double bed is on legs, so lots of room underneath.
Mine's an ottoman, so I've got it's full
How
inside,
much?
and I can't get rid of it.
How much fabric have you got underneath the ottoman?
Shh. We don't tell. Let's just say it's full.
Yeah,
And leave
it
it.
makes me laugh when people are talking about sneaking fabric in, when like the hubbies are out at work or away with work, and when the deliveries have turned up when they weren't expecting them and
Yeah.
what have you, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just like, there's a delivery coming, like just chuck it with the rest. And he's like, what you been buying now? And I'm like, and he just doesn't care. He's just not, he's just so used to it now.
Yeah, no,
But he's a
mine's like
bad
that.
influence, to be fair. Like I'll be like, shall I buy it? And I'm like, I really like it. And I'm like, but I don't need it. And he'd be like, but you really like it. And I'm like, And you're like, well, get it. It's your money. Do what you want. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. He sounds a
But
bit
you're
like
supposed to talk me out of it.
he's a bit like that. This
Oh,
time of year, I've got deliveries every day because
yeah.
I'm just making and making constantly.
Are you as bad for patterns as what I am though? Like
I've
when all the
tried.
new patterns come out.
I was. I have got a lot better at that and not just jumping
You
on the
need to
bag
teach
and
me.
grabbing everything because I find, and maybe I shouldn't, but I tend to stick to the same sort of patterns all the time. And a lot of them just recently have all been pretty similar anyway.
I mean, I stick to the same patterns. I just still buy all the other ones.
Be interested to know what other people think about the size of your bag, because at one stage it was quite big, large bags like the high reef and things like that, and larger sort of tote handbags. And then it sort of went minuscule, like the tiny little foam bags. And I'm finding that the big bags are not selling. People want
Mm-hmm.
sort of your medium, like your crossbody, your small, sort of
Mm-hmm.
not too big. Um, and that's again not just the fabric choices that you use, but what bags do you make?
Yeah. Have
Because
you got a favourite pattern designer?
um, not really. I mean, I like Lynn's handmade. I like the Pink Pony. I like um, lots. Well, I'm not precious, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. If I like the design, then I'll get that one. Um, so it to me, it's not necessarily the designer, although some I have to say are better than others as far as instructions go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm sort of a try it and find out if it works kind of person. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I I don't very often look at the YouTube videos. Sometimes I do,
Right.
depending on the written instructions, because they're not
Mm-hmm.
always good. Mostly they are, thankfully. Um, and I'll do something, and if it works, if it doesn't work, then I think, well, what have I done wrong? And then I'll probably check and I'll see
Mm-hmm.
I've missed a step or done something like that. But generally speaking, I just play, and I think that's how I
Mm-hmm.
learned to sew anything. To be honest, before there was loads of bag patterns and things, which is why when I said I started with material, general sort of cotton and making
Mm-hmm.
baskets and tissue roll covers and you know, I just play
Yeah.
and I just made something up. I mean, it's a bit like with the rolls, the roll hanger. I just
Mm-hmm.
thought, well, this looks fairly simple. I must be able to make it. And yeah, so I just did that. I've done that with quite a lot of things, not with the
Mm-hmm.
leather, I have to say, mostly just with cotton. Uh, yeah, no, I can't waste all the leather. So I might,
No.
if I'm designing a bag, which I've made recently, I've made a few of these, which is sort of like the Wanderlust bag, but I just did my own sizing and how I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done a few like that. So sort of said,
I imagine that probably sells really well. It.
yeah, that's a good size because you can get
Mm-hmm.
a reasonable amount in it, but it's not too big.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and of course, it's quite quick and easy to make.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 3 zips in that bag, which is frustrating because I still think zips are my nemesis. But zips are what people want, and I get it, for security, etc. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
more of a even when I do have a bag, a bigger bag, which I tend to use, I never do the zip up. I'm too lazy
Yeah.
to keep undoing it.
I'm with
And there
you.
may be occasions when I would. So if I was in a crowded place or something, maybe I would. I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
my favourite pattern the bag that I'm using at the moment is the Pachira, and I've made it wider because
Right.
I found it a little bit too thin, just like that one. Really, it's a bit thin. So I just
Mm-hmm.
made the gut a bit bigger, and that's been my most popular sell um,
Right.
for the last, well, probably 12 months.
Okay.
Um,
Hazel saying the sling bag craze was huge.
yeah, I never really got into that, and I think it's what I was saying about I make what I like, and it's just
Yeah.
not something. Most of my customers are not young, if you like, um,
Mm-hmm.
and couldn't really see some of those with them. I had a phase of backpacks. Um, Not
Mm-hmm.
summer just gone, but the summer before, summer 23, everyone wanted a backpack from me. Which
Yeah.
is great. Um, but
Donna's saying small bags outsell her large bags by nearly 3 times, like a
yeah,
self-drafted pattern, slowly introducing some most professional looking patterns. So I think
well,
definitely like what you're saying, the smaller sort of like
yeah,
crossbody bags.
boring
One of
though.
the things that I notice always sell really well, like that little bag there that you've just shown. Bags like that are made into dog walking bags sell like
See, now
hotcakes.
they didn't sell for me.
Did they not?
No, and
Wow. Isn't it interesting how different demographics,
yeah,
different areas work differently? That's so interesting.
even like the things that like dog poo bags, the little
Mm-hmm.
things. I tried those as a smaller item. No, just, people think, yeah, that's a good idea, and that's it. You don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, a lot of people, as you say, different areas have different
Hmm.
that they go for, really.
I think as well, I think the type of fairs or events
Yeah,
that you do, it's definitely looking at the type of customer who's going to be going to those events.
yeah,
So it's definitely getting to know your customer and doing some research before you go to those events.
definitely.
So, if you're going to sort of like a country fair, country market type event, you probably are going to get people who have animals, who are into the animals. You probably will get people who, would look at anything to do with that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
But if you maybe's in a city, you maybe's not going to have as many people. Not that I'm saying people who live in a city don't have animals, because they obviously do, but
yeah,
you get more people who maybe can't have animals in their properties if they're living in city blocks, that sort of thing. It's about thinking about the type of customers you're going to get into the type of venue that you're going to. And so like if you're going to sort of like, very upmarket event, you need to have very upmarket
yeah. Agreed.
stuff.
It is difficult to know what to do and to take at different events,
Mm-hmm.
and just say they're all different, but getting to know your type of customer is probably the hardest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I say the hardest thing. There's lots of hard things,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's very hit and miss.
Yeah.
What might go really well one week or 1 month, it doesn't go at all. You know, the next.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we just
And if
have
you've gone to the same,
to be different and grow and do different things. And if
yeah.
you've got, I tend to have probably two, maybe three of a particular style on my stall. So I've got lots of different styles.
Mm-hmm.
And again, those styles will change.
Yes.
One week it may be the Pachira and the Luna and the Mini Iris and things like that. And then another time it might be a hinterland, or it depends where I'm going, the time
Yeah.
of year. So this time of year, definitely big bags don't go at all, because if people are thinking about presents and things, they're not going to buy a large bag. Um,
Mm-hmm.
well, I say they're not. Generally, they don't. It's the
Yeah.
mid-range, mid-size, and the small ones that go.
Yeah. I always found like I don't do events very often because I just don't have the time. Um, but I always found having at least one kind of
Yes.
really big, very intricate, what I kind of call my showstopper. A
Yeah.
little bit, like Make It at Market, what
Hmm.
they like how they sort of called things. But that one that was always at the top or was centre stage on my display, that would make people stop and go, oh my God, that's amazing. They would
Yeah.
never have any intention of selling it. And to be fair, it was usually always earmarked. There was one that I had for months and months and months, and it was earmarked for my mother-in-law's Christmas present. And when people used to pick it up, I'd be like, you need to be really careful there, because that's my mother-in-law's Christmas present. And it was a one I'd actually made out of a lamb's wool coat that I'd got in a charity shop. This coat was beautiful. It was a beautiful colour, beautiful material, such quality material, and I upcycled it, and I matched it with some like burgundy leather for the straps, and it's
Oh,
still to this day one of my I'm most proud of this bag. And my mother-in-law, well, technically my ex-mother-in-law, but I still class her as my mother-in-law. Um, she was like, "Oh, that bag's beautiful," and I was like, "Oh, it's sold." So it hadn't. It was going to all these markets with me. It was when I was still doing quite a few markets, and as I say, I would just say to people like, "Oh, it's already sold. It's it's just still coming to markets with me, but you know, it's not for sale. But it would stop people, and it would make people come to my
Yeah.
stand. But I knew for a fact it would never sell because of how much I was pricing it for. And I wouldn't have sold it for anything less than what I was pricing it because of how much work went into it.
Yeah.
But it was always the mid-priced things that would sell, but it was the big
Yeah,
bag
agreed. I mean,
that
I would
made
have
people
one
come.
or two larger ones in the
Yeah,
middle of my display.
yeah,
They're the ones that people look at because they can see them from a distance and they come and have a closer look. Um, so yeah, you've got to have a couple of showstopper, at least one.
Do you ever get anybody who just doesn't believe that you've made it?
All the time. I had mine made because I just, well, I say had it made. I made it on an embroidery machine, but you sort of say, they're all handmade. I only make one. But you made this? Yes, that's what we're at. We're at a handmade fair or whatever, And so many people, and I think, what are you expecting?
Yeah.
I mean, it's lovely. It's a lovely compliment. Doesn't actually pay the rent, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Um,
I had this
Right. If you're
sorry,
going to
go ahead.
a fair, then you expect everything to be handmade. To be fair, I have been to a few where there have been a few things that have been bought in, but
Yeah.
mostly it's handmade. But yeah, if I had £1 for every time someone said, "Oh, they're lovely," or "You made," or "Did you really make it?" and also, I wouldn't need to go to any fair.
I know I had a fellow once who picked it was an NCW that I'd made, and picked it up, and he said, "Oh, like where'd you buy these purses?" And I said, "No, I make them." And he was like, "Yeah, but like where'd you buy them?" And I was like, "No, like I make them." And he was like, "Yeah, but like where'd you actually buy the purse bit?" And I said, "No, I make the entire purse. I take all the materials and I put them all together, and that's what I make." But the funniest thing was, at this particular fair, I had one of my YouTube videos of me making that exact NCW plane. And I was like, "There, can you see?" And he was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm." And I had it like on mute, and I had it like sort of like sped up, because you know how you can
Yeah.
like play YouTube at like 2 times speed. And he just it just took ages for him to get that. And it was that NCW that was in the video that was actually on my stand. We just would not comprehend that that purse had been made. It was just so funny. And in the finish, I was laughing. I was like, I'm not being rude. I'm just like you say, I'm taking it as a compliment
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you don't believe that I've made it. Like, I'm sort of like say taking that as a compliment.
Yeah.
But
You have to.
I
But
think as well what you were saying before about going to markets where there are things that aren't handmade. Again, that what we were talking about before about knowing your customer. It pays, I think, a lot of the time as well to do research on events, because I think it really when the quality, which obviously yours is, like the quality of your bags and what have you, it pays to do the research on the events that you're going to be attending, because you need to be somewhere where it's going to be attracting the types of customers who want to be buying your things.
yeah, I think we all do make mistakes like that. I mean, I went to a large
Absolutely.
last year. It was first time for me. I knew it was a big fair. I knew it was footfall, etc. And I was in, well, basically an alcove, and there was a person that had got two large stalls almost opposite me with bought-in bags from China.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was doing a roaring trade, I mean, I just can't compete with that.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, why do you want some cheap Chinese stuff that's knocked out constantly when you can have something totally unique totally
Yeah.
handmade, that is different from everybody else. And
Nobody's going to have the same.
I know price has plays a part,
Mm-hmm.
etc. But if they've bought one of those, they're not going to buy one of mine. So I was disheartened and thought, I've got to be more careful and more selective. When
Mm-hmm.
it says handmade and gift fair, means there's going to
Mm-hmm.
be a lot of brought in stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. We do make lots of mistakes, but hopefully,
Yeah. I think that because there's a lot of sort of events now where like you have to apply and like you have to send in like pictures of the
yeah,
things that you've made. Sometimes as well, like showing your process and stuff as well. And that can put off some people applying, but then that's a good thing
I
because
think
then it opens up for those that are genuine.
it is an excellent thing. But at the same time, you
Mm-hmm.
have to hope that the organisers are selective about having several people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse that and again, I've done that, and I'm sure other people have, where you go to an event and there are 2, 3, maybe 4 bag makers. All right, then
Yeah.
might be different mediums and different styles, but there's still a bag. And
Yeah.
unless it's just like a tote bag and you're making handbags,
Mm-hmm.
you can't. It's just unfair. I know that people say, well, people that make jewellery, there's always loads of jewellery stores and the jewellery is
Yeah.
different. So, yeah, competition is healthy when
Mm-hmm.
done in the right sort of way. But
It's
if
got to
you're
be spread out, hasn't it?
absolutely, I mean, if it's a big market, then yeah, you're going to have several. That's not a problem. It's
Mm-hmm.
not all in the same place.
Yeah,
Uh,
just not next to each other.
exactly. If you're in the two different marquees, great,
Yeah.
fine.
Tracy's saying she sells her bags in Filey, mainly goth and steampunk for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I bet she does really well. And Donna's saying she does really well at steam rallies and agricultural shows. Took me a while to realise
I've
what she meant
never,
there, but
I've
got
never
it.
done an agricultural show because I didn't really think it was the right fit, but it
No,
sounds like it
I
might
bet
be.
you do well. Yeah. Um, the one of the girls that I had on the podcast a little while ago, Danny from um DD Leathercraft, who was on
Uh-huh.
Make It at
Yeah.
Market, she pretty much exclusively does VW events
Oh,
and does really well. And
see,
like that's what she does dub events.
I need to look into then because I've never thought
Yeah.
that was the right fit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of farmers markets around here, and I don't do those either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but
Nikki's saying hello. I'm sure it's Nikki from Hollow Bag Creations. I'm pretty sure it's Nikki. Um, Donna's saying that's what she hopes to learn. Showstopper bag. She just needs more confidence in herself. You'll get there. You'll absolutely get there. Cassie's saying you blew his mind that you made the NCW. I absolutely did, and I was over the moon that I
yeah,
did. Donna's saying I do my biggest one of the year at Peterborough Cathedral. And they are craft and gift, but selective.
now Donna,
Yeah.
I have tried to get into Peterborough Cathedral and couldn't get in there. So
But might maybe be if Donna is there doing bags, they might
yeah,
not let more
no,
than
no, that's right. But
so.
yeah, so it is like you say, it is finding the right places and the right fit, and
Mm-hmm.
being lucky, being the one chosen, if you like.
Yeah. And Brian saying agricultural shows is how he got his start. So
Interesting.
definitely have a look. And it's right. I got it right. It's Nikki. My kids are going, my God, you can't even get our names right and just remembering other people's names. Um, So, but yeah, and like, I mean, obviously, I know we were just very briefly chatting before we came on about like setting up like your website and going online, which is a totally
Mm,
different ball game again, and so much technology, which we're probably not a good
yeah.
idea to get started on because I'll get my absolute geek head on and we'll be here like
Yeah,
midnight,
whole new
and
other
and
subject.
Andy's probably sitting there going, please don't start her on websites, please don't start her on websites. Because for somebody who is very creative, you don't usually get people who are creative but then also quite geeky and techie. And I think that's probably where me and Emma are very, very similar, because we are both very similar like that, in that we're both quite like the technology side of it and what have you. But when you, it's very similar with websites. It's about knowing your customer. 2 seconds. Can you still hear me all right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think my headphones might have gone off or come back on again.
Okay.
These headphones are absolutely awful. They don't last 5 minutes. It is about sort of like knowing your customer, but it is sort of like a total different ball game, sort of like going online as opposed to sort
Yes,
of in
I
person.
yeah, I love doing the website. I absolutely hate doing social media. I am rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mentioned briefly when we were chatting, it's something alien to me. I'm quite a shy person, even though I do markets, and it really is good for me to do that. Um, so I find it quite difficult to put myself out there in social media. Um, and it's something I know that I have to get over and I have to do, and I do, and I'll go in stages and I'll post every other day or every day for a few weeks, and then you won't hear from me for another couple of weeks. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm not consistent, and that's something that I really have to work on.
Yeah, but it's like we were saying as well, it's so hard to put yourself out there, especially on the web,
Yeah,
big world wide web, and sort of say, here's something I've made. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it fantastic? Please come and buy it. Because you have to sort of big it up
yeah,
to get it seen. And it's really hard to sort of put yourself out there and big yourself up, because it goes against your human nature to do that. And I think even for extroverted people, it would go against your nature to do that. And it's yeah, it's just kind of something that you have to
yeah. I think you just
kind
hope
of
the product
work on.
speaks
And
for itself, really, rather than having to keep
yeah,
pushing. But
kind of
as we know,
chuck it out there and run away.
yeah,
Hope somebody
exactly.
sees it and like
Here's
loves
a picture,
it.
don't you love it? And off I go.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you know, Helen, who I had on the podcast, I think Helen might have been the first person I had on the podcast actually. Like she's been setting up her website and everything, and I said the same thing to her as well. Like, I I love that side of it. Like, I love all the SEO.
Yeah.
I love all the analytics. Like, I am an absolute geek. Like, I log on every day. Sorry, I log on every day to my Google Analytics to see where I'm at, and like, yeah. And Andy goes, "Oh God, she's at it again," because it's so boring to him and probably to everybody else. But like I
Yeah, no,
say, I
I,
just,
I love it. I just wish I understood it more
yeah.
and I'm better at it.
But
Um,
if you need sort of any help in that direction, give us a shout, and you know, I'll happily point you in the right direction, because a lot of people think sorry, I'm just gonna have a drink. This, by the way, can I just point out, this is a cup of tea. I'm so bad. um People think with websites it's chucking like loads of words at it and it'll be found, and it's really not.
yeah.
it's it's about creating a customer journey, and that's how your customers will find you. It's about making it really, really as user friendly and as customer friendly as you can make it. And it's about getting it a little bit like what we're saying about getting in the mind of your customer for your events. It's very, very similar. It's about getting in the mind of your customer and what they'll be looking for. So
It's
just
all the
very sort of,
things that, how many
yeah,
words do you think of for a handbag?
But you would only think of one, because if you put 20 on there, it would never get found, because Google would not know what you were talking about. It wouldn't
No,
know.
but if you've got, I mean, you can have like 30 different crossbody bags. So how do you describe a crossbody bag? You know, or it's not necessarily the description, it's the title.
Yeah.
Because you need people to know it's a crossbody, but how do you make each one different? And you know, various things like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've started writing a blog to put
I
on my
saw your blog post. It was very, very good. It was really, really good.
I've done 3 now. I want to do one a month. I won't be doing one next month because December's just like a write-off. But I know I'm going to run out of ideas soon. I've probably got enough for another few months, but after that, it's like, then what am I going to do? But I do see a lot of people that start blogs, and you know, you might get a couple of months, and then you don't hear anything from them anymore. So I'd quite like to do that. But yeah.
So can I give you an idea?
Absolutely.
Right. So when you put a new bag on your page, yeah, write a blog post about it.
You can't do that every time.
Of course you can. Of course you can. So you put a bag. Where's can you see? You can't see this bag, can you? So you make a bag, and you put this bag on your website.
Yeah.
And you describe this bag. I'm not going to go into how you describe this bag, but you'd put the title, you'd put the description, you put your pictures, you put your alt text for your pictures.
Yeah.
You put your price, and then you write a blog post on your website about making that bag, about your inspiration behind that bag, which you then would use the SEO rich words that describe that bag, which means that it gets found in search.
I think that's something I could probably
and
do.
And then when that bag sells, you still leave that blog post up, because when you then put another bag on that is similar to that bag, you can then change the blog slightly to then feed into a bag that's similar to that bag. So your blog posts will always make your website be found, and then you just link, or you link to the category of your bags. So when that bag sells, you then link to whatever category you put that bag into. So as your blog develops, and the more bags that you have in there, and then as the more blogs that you write, so you can then link to a different blog. So if you've previously found inspiration that was similar to this bag, you link to that blog, and it becomes like a spider web. So you keep people on your website because you link from this blog post to that blog post to that blog post to this product to this product, back to that blog. So you keep them on your website for as long as possible. Google sees that this website's really relevant for people who are looking for handbags or gifts or what have you. And then it sends more people your way. And that's how you end up going through higher and higher and higher in search. Told you I was a geek.
Okay.
So that's how, basically, it's not just about like bag making, gift making topics. You could write topics on fabrics, you could write topics on anything really to do like within the industry. You could write a topic on like yourself, like how you got into bag making, where you find your inspiration from, like say bags that you create, events that you do, events that you're going to, events that you want to do, things that you aspire to do, anything that will draw people into your website, which will then send them on to stuff that you sell.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's something that I'm sort of getting into slowly. Website's only been live since June.
Challenge me, I could probably give you 365 topics to write on. I bet you.
Yeah. Okay. Right. You're on. I will be in touch. It'll be Deb. I don't know what
I
to
mean,
write.
oh, I mean, obviously, you'll probably see for mine, I write a blog post on each um podcast that I do.
Okay. Yeah.
So obviously, that then means that the podcast feeds back to my website feeds back to my podcast feeds back to your website,
Yeah.
my website feeds to your website. It becomes a
Yeah. No,
perpetual cycle.
excellent. Okay.
Like I say, I told you I was an absolute geek where these things are concerned. But that was only because my website wasn't working. And I went and found somebody who told me how to make my website work.
Yeah. We all need a little,
So,
don't we?
so yeah. And Andy's having conversations with people in the chat. Emma's saying she hates the tech side of things when they don't work, yeah. Lynn's saying she's hopeless at all that stuff. Techie and social medias, Donna's as well.
Glad I'm not the.
Yeah. No, to be fair, tech drives me insane, especially when it doesn't work. Hazel saying my husband likes to show my bags at work and praise what I make, but I just want to dive into a big hole and hide. I don't take compliments very well, and I just want to point out all the faults. I think
Oh, you,
we
Hayes.
all do that. Nikki's saying exactly the same. Donna's saying she knows that feeling. Lisa's saying she's exactly the same. Andy's saying Deb insists on showing my bags, and I was the same. We can't take the compliments. Donna's saying that Andy's top stitching was way better than mine. And Andy's saying, yeah, I was happy with that. Didn't even think it at the time. It was only when I showed Deb and her reaction. My reaction was that I was foaming, that his top stitching was better than mine, to be fair. Lynn saying that's her totally lost. And Donna's saying me too. Oh. But I think with things like websites and stuff, you've got to think of it as how people use it. I think a lot of people think of their website from their point of view as selling. So, and that's where I was really going wrong with mine. I was basically putting things on and I was thinking of it as, right, I'm selling gold D-rings. So what's the point in me just putting gold D-rings on? Like, it's never, ever, ever going to get found. I had to think of it as somebody looking for gold earrings for making bags. So what is it that they will be searching for? How will they be looking for it? Where will they be searching for those type of things? And how will they need to find it? And it was when I started to look at it from that point of view that my website started to change. And
It is a
then,
bit of a rabbit hole, though, isn't it? I mean, you go in one
oh,
day and you're just going down and all the different warrens. But yeah, it's
yeah.
fascinating. It's frustrating, but
And the best way to look at it with your website is, especially if you've already started with your website and now you're looking at your website and you're thinking, oh my God, is one page at a time. Don't think of it as like, oh my God, I want to go and change it all. Don't think of it that way. Just think of it as one page at a time. So just look at your home page and think about, right, what do I want people to see first and foremost when they come to my home page, which is you and like your story of your bags and the beautiful creations that you make and what they're going to get when they come and get a bag from you, and the beautiful bags that they're going to get, and why they should come to you, and then take them off to the different places, and then just do one page at a time, and then you'll get there.
Yeah, it is a huge learning curve, but we'll get there.
And I'll give you loads of blog post ideas, don't worry.
Yeah. Yes, I'll be constantly tapping you for ideas.
Well, you'll regret it. Because I'll be like, if you thought about this, if you thought about that, and you'll be like, oh, why did I ask?
And then you'll be coming back. Written about that.
It's thinking outside the box. Because I think and I find it with my own business, I can't think about it because it's my business and I can't get outside of my own head. But when it's for somebody else, I can think about it.
Yeah.
So if I asked somebody else for me, really easy.
Yeah.
But for me, for my business, I find it harder. And I think everybody's the same.
Yeah, you're too close to it. It's too precious.
Yeah. And it's even like sort of when somebody said there about agricultural shows, and you'd sort of said, oh well, I hadn't even thought about them.
Thought about those at all.
Definitely worth looking into.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I'm just, where was that comment I saw before there? Donna was saying she's in Peterborough in a couple of weeks. Pop in and see her and she'll introduce you to the organiser lady.
Okay.
I love Peterborough Cathedral.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, my best friend lives not far from Peterborough, so I go down and see her quite a bit. So it's been a little while since I've been into Peterborough, because we tend to sort of do different places round about. But we've been a few times. So she says, "Are you local to Peterborough? She's there in a couple of weeks, so if you fancy, pop in and say hello."
I'm St Neots, so not too far.
And Andy's come in with a question. Andy's saying, what does the future hold for your bag making journey?
Well, I still feel that I'm at the bottom of my journey. I'm still learning. I would like to promote my website more so that I'm doing more commissions as opposed to more markets. Be my goal, to sell, from my website and to do commissions rather than constantly lugging stuff backwards and forwards to markets.
It's hard work,
I
isn't it?
I do enjoy them. I just would like to do less.
Yeah.
I love
be a bit more selective.
If I didn't do the markets, I'd be overrun with them because I still make them. So I have to do something with them. So yeah, my goal is to build it up so that I get a reputation and they know who to come to. So we'll see. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah. You'll get there.
But if not, I'm still happy. I'm still doing what I love.
Yeah.
And, I can give them away as to people in need, to charities. I used to do a lot of that when I used to do all the knitting. I'd do knitting for the Alzheimer's charities, etc. So yeah, I enjoy making things, and I'm always making something, whether it's bags during the day or knitting or sewing something in the evening, watching telly. I'm always doing.
Yeah, I think as well, like with you saying about the website, with wanting to be able to take commissions, you'd probably do really well with that, because I think a lot of people probably would look online for something like that. I mean, I just got an email, and I don't even make bags and sell online. Like, I sell bag making hardware, and I got an email yesterday. Was it yesterday, from somebody wanting me to make them a bag? And I was like, I don't take commissions. I'll send you our email, or I'll send her yours. I was like, I don't do that. Like, so I was like, why is my SEO not working? Like, why is she asking me to make her a bag? I
I
don't
know
even make
bag,
bags.
bag making bit. They didn't read the supplies.
Yeah. Um, with this long list of like what her requirements were. She just basically got, sorry, I don't do this. Um, but I think a lot of people do go online and look for that type of thing. So it's just getting yourself in front of it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Keep
all it
it-
is. And it does take a little while to build up. Like, you make those
Cool.
changes, and
Yeah,
it takes a good sort of 3 months. And I think that's where a lot of people fall down, is sort of they make the changes to the website and they don't see the changes straight away, so then they go in and change it again,
yeah.
and then they go in, and you need to give it that time to kind of take
Yeah, I mean,
hold and settle and have faith.
yeah, it's only a few months old, so it's doing okay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously, it can do a lot better. But I'm just
If it's doing
looking at it and
if,
changing it.
if it's doing okay for a few months old, then
Well,
that's
as far as
that's
I'm
good.
concerned, it's okay. It's not great.
Yeah. Donna's saying her 2025 goal is to get sorted online. Obviously, we have the online thing this month anyway, Donna, in the
Yeah.
club. So buckle up, baby, because we'll we'll get you online. Don't worry. And Lynn's saying that she's knitting now while she's listening.
Yeah.
Um, and Donna's saying she's finding the physical aspects getting harder, so she
Oh,
needs to
good.
get her online
That's exactly
sorted.
it, Donna. I'm not young. It's hard work. All right, they're not heavy, but there's a lot of stuff that you're taking. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
bags, you can't squash them into a.
We might have broke your website.
Don't like the thought of that getting an error.
It might just be if there's been a few people gone online to have a look, then there might
So
have just been too many gone and had a look.
yeah, we're getting
It
old.
could
So
be. It could be that I've put um the wrong link in the description, so we
okay,
can
it's
check that
coming up on
out.
my phone, which it might
When we
do.
when we
Needs to put the
finish,
description. Yeah.
yeah, when we finish,
Get off.
just stay on this bit for a second or two, and we'll have a quick look before me and you go offline. But it could well be that I've put a spelling mistake in, and I can correct it.
The cat's decided
So
to come and see what's going on.
she
Not
wants in on
walking
the
across.
action. She's like, "Oh, I've heard you talking about SEO, and I want to know what's going on." Um, so yeah, I've absolutely loved chatting with you. Obviously, I've getting my geek on talking about websites and SEO. So
Oh,
um,
well, we'll
I
have
think it was
about that.
Maureen said Maureen said earlier up in the chat about it should be a motivational speaker. No. I just really get overexcited about
Just
stuff
because
that I'm passionate about.
you're passionate about something, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it comes across, and you
I'm
just. Oh, this is how I am about bag making. I love it.
yeah.
Um, yes, I moan about it sometimes. I throw some, swear about it, but I just love it. There's nothing better than whether it's a bag, whether it's a dress, whatever it is. If you've
Mm-hmm.
made something, that achievement of having done it is amazing.
It's fab, isn't
And it's
it?
never going to be perfect. Who wants it to be perfect?
Yeah.
You want, even shop brought is not perfect. I mean, we've seen some right states and some of those things, but it's just the sense of achievement is amazing.
Yeah. There's
Any
two things that I'm passionate about in this world. One of them's bag making, and one of them is what is small businesses succeeding, especially creative small businesses succeeding. So yeah, I do get
Yeah.
a little bit
Okay.
excited.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like say when we were talking before, it's all stuff that like as a fellow small business owner, I've had to go out and learn. So if I can impart a bit of the knowledge that I've gone out and learned and make something a little bit easier for somebody else, then
Well,
I'm
this is
happy
it.
to do it.
That,
Or pass on where I've found it out, and
exactly.
give those secrets away. I'm happy to do
We
that.
we all learn off each other. I mean, that is one of the things I do like about markets, for example.
Yeah.
We
Oh
all help
yes.
each other, and you get different
Hmm.
ideas from different people, and you help them, they help you. It's a really friendly environment, mostly.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes. You get
and
the odd bad apple, but you
of
get
course,
that in life
but,
everywhere, don't you?
but generally speaking, it's a really lovely community.
Hmm.
And yeah, crafting community is amazing.
Yeah.
There are so many talented people out there
Yeah.
that it's just,
Absolutely.
I just love it. If I'm not doing a fair, I like to go round them, to see people and what they're doing and what's around. I buy all my Christmas presents from these markets.
Hmm. Yeah.
My blog.
Exactly. That can be your Christmas blog. Write it now, schedule it for December, and then you've got a December one. See,
Well,
I
it's
don't let
kind of
people off.
like this one's about, handmade
Yeah.
gifts. So
Yeah. Oh. Well, you could December one can be I'll think something for the new year. New
yeah,
new year. Taking up a hobby in the new year. We'll
we'll
think
get
about how we can spin that into your
yeah.
website. Hmm. Oh, but it's
Great.
been absolutely lovely chatting to you.
Thank
And
you for having me.
you didn't think that you'd be interesting.
No,
You've just proved you wrong. You're so interesting. You're so fascinating. Really fascinating. And I've loved hearing about your journey. And if people aren't following you on Instagram or Facebook, go and follow our page. See absolutely amazing creations. I'm going to go and check the description and make sure that I've got the website correct because I've probably mistyped it. If it is correct, we'll make sure that the website's up and running so that you can go and check out our website. And then keep checking it to see how it develops and check out our blog
suggestions
post.
always welcome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So next week I have Jill from Kitecore Creates. So Jill is in New Zealand, so it will be 8 o'clock in the morning for Jill next week. She has taken time out of her crazy busy schedule to come and join us, so I'm really grateful. She has just taken over Kiwi, I think it's called Baganeas. I think that's how it's pronounced. So she is amalgamating those two businesses into one at the moment. So she has absolutely loads going on, and she's taken time out of her business to come and chat with us. So I am really excited to hear about everything that's going on in her world and what she's going to have coming up and what her future plans are. So come and join us 8 o'clock UK time, well 8 p.m. UK time. Anybody listening who is sort of Australia, New Zealand, it's going to be 8 a.m. their time. But the link is on my Facebook page in the events. If you go onto my YouTube channel, it is showing in the upcoming tab. You can click on the notify me to get a notification to say when we go live. So yeah, so we've got that coming up, and then we've also got Brian coming up the week after. Brian has been in the chat this evening, so I am looking forward to hearing all about his chicken bags. So, and as Lynn has just said there as well, don't forget to like the chat because the YouTube algorithm does absolutely love it. It helps to push my videos out into the big wide world, and I will love you for it as well because yes, it does really help me as a small creator. Paula says, thanks for a wonderful chat, ladies. I've really enjoyed it. Hazel says, thank you. I've really enjoyed it. Tracy said she's loved it. Lynn says, thank you, ladies. It's been brilliant. I have really enjoyed this chat this evening. As I do always, I haven't not enjoyed a single podcast episode yet. So thank you so much, Amanda, for giving up your evening and chatting with us. It's been fantastic.
Thank you for having me. It's been great. It's really good to listen to everybody, their comments.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I'll see everybody next week. Bye.
Bye.